Hey everyone! The previous schedule really wasn't working for me, so here we have a revised schedule. You can see me live on Kick at these times. Thanks for stopping in. Happy to see you. Alright, Concord. For those of you who don't know, I mean, I just started, so it's not common knowledge, obviously, at this point. But I am a huge gamer. I love gaming. I'm a man in my late 30s who just can't get enough and hasn't grown up in that particular sense. Everyone needs their hobbies, but yeah, I'm a gamer. Uh, Concord is a game that thankfully I had never had the displeasure of playing. Concord is a joke of a game made by woke people who are really dumb. They thought the backstory of Concord is hilarious because it, it's a term actually in the gaming space called toxic positivity. These people really believed that they were creating like a new Star Wars franchise, not a franchise, a Star Wars, a new franchise as they expected to be as big as Star Wars, which is hilarious because it didn't even like the game was out for like a month before people dropped it because it just wasn't very good. The characters were stupid. There was pronouns in the game, like characters with he, him, or she, her, or they, them. Like nobody cares about that. Nobody wants that in their games. They just want they want a break from reality. They don't want retarded clown world reality in their games. And so yeah, naturally the game failed after the Sony spent $400 million. I think it was. It was a huge amount of money they spent dropping into this franchise, this would be franchise and this game. Um, so yeah, let's hear what my Smug Alana has to say about it.
Alright, let's do it. Revisiting Concord, the biggest flop in the history of media. Uh-oh, 1 year later, stinky.
3. The supersonic Concord airliner was discontinued and phased out of commercial use.
Just like
mainly
the game.
because it was a more expensive alternative to a product the public was already satisfied with. In 2012, the Costa Concordia
The only reason we know about Costa Concordia is because of Internet Historian, I swear.
cruise ship crashed into the island of Giglio as a result of poor decision-making on the part of the ship's captain. In the 1975 film Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Lancelot Squire is hit and injured by a random arrow in a moment of truly horrible luck. His name was
Brave Concord!
In 2000,
I'm starting to think the name is actually cursed. Wait, I used to watch the show!
2009, the HBO television series Flight of the Conchords was
Oh my god! Oh my god! I used to watch this show! No fucking way! They're from New Zealand! They were super famous back in the day.
canceled after just 2 seasons because the creators were overwhelmed by the pressure being put on them and no longer enjoyed making the show.
Which is fair, which is fair, by the way, rather than beating a dead horse.
These things have in common, none of them failed in as many ways as Concord the video game. Concord was a more expensive alternative to a superior free product that was plagued by poor decision-making by leaders.
Free is debatable. Battle pass locked behind characters that you have to pay the battle pass for. It used to be free. Yeah, for those that don't know, if you want to play the new character like Kimiko or whatever her name was, you had to play the battle pass.
Leadership,
You have to buy that
bad
shit.
luck, and massive pressure from Sony, who spent nearly $500 million on the game just to refund the.
You don't have to pay for characters? Yeah, you do. Back then. That was reverted? Yeah, after they got the money. They're all free now again? Chat, you have to understand. I know they're free now.
As much as I enjoyed Overwatch back in the day, like I got the game. I want to say back in 2020. Like I got it for like $20, so it wasn't free for me. But as much as I enjoyed the game back then, I think at this point there's nothing that's going to bring me back into it, especially when Marvel Rivals is a superior product at this point.
But they realized that it was a really bad idea and it got a lot of backlash. Initially, they were like, you know what? We need more money! Yep.
Estimated
Only for 3 characters. Do you know how money they probably made off of those 3 characters being paywalled by a fucking battle pass? It's not an excuse. They shouldn't have never done this in the first place.
$1 million they got back in return. Exactly
horrible
1
idea.
year
Should've
ago
never done
today,
that.
Concord was taken offline permanently.
Hey guys, Command B coming at you from the editing room. As some of you might know, Concord went offline on September 6th, and today is not that day. Apologies for that, I got kind of sidetracked playing this super highly anticipated indie game
That's valid.
came out recently. I'm of course talking about Harold Halibut, but hey, I hope the wait was worth it. Really tried to make the editing better than ever in this one. So yeah, please enjoy.
Officially cementing the game as arguably the biggest flop in the history of media, games or otherwise. So come with me as we do a little digital grave digging, revisiting the story of Concord in the hopes that we may learn something from its short, troubled existence.
Look at this character
Concord
design,
in
man.
the hopes that we may learn something.
Like, who finds this appealing, bro? This is weird looking. Who wants to play as this? Not me.
Something from its short, troubled existence. Our story begins with Harold Ryan. You may
Like, you see, obviously the voice that I have is a male voice, and I have a female avatar. Do you know why? Like, as a gamer, there's different types of gamers, right? When you have let's look at third-person action games, right? That you can control you can create your character. Some gamers, some guy gamers, will play a guy because they want to portray, like, see themselves taking on the adventurer, put themselves in the place of the character playing the game. See me, I fit in a different camp where I like to make my characters female because I like to look at some pretty things. I like to see something pretty constantly while I'm playing. So that's why I choose a female. I can take my phone, I can look on my stream, I can shake myself around and see my titties bounce, which is what I want to do, which is why my character's female. Thank you for any gooners, any fellow gooners who come in and do the same. Anyway, we'll just leave that there.
not know that name, but you certainly
What a
know the
name.
things he's worked on. See, he was the CEO and chairman of Bungie back in the good old days.
And they put him on Concord thinking he was gonna save that thing.
He presided over the release of a little-known title called Halo and continued on that hot
Yeah, that
streak through the
little-known-
release of Destiny,
little-known
which
title.
won
Such
Game
a
of the
banger
Year.
game.
But in 2016, Harold started to see industry trends materialize that he didn't quite like. He saw increased corporatization and poor work
Yep, Activision Blizzard.
that he didn't quite like. He saw increased corporatization
Did they make games better? I remember people were saying that they were gonna start making games really good after the acquisition.
They did not.
Yeah, whatever happened to that?
They did not.
and poor working conditions eating away at the game industry
Yo,
culture
Ditas, thank
he
you for
had
the
grown to love.
raid!
The one
Thank
where the real
you.
exotic weapon engrams were the friends we made
Spicy,
along
ba.
the way. So this sparked an idea. He decided to leave Bungie and strike out on his own, with the aim of creating a new type of game company. A game company that
Firewalk
combined new
Studios.
school resources and funding with old school people-first culture. Sounds pretty darn good.
Okay.
In 2018, Ryan announces the formation of Probably Monsters, which would serve as an incubator for sub-studios like a dutiful emperor penguin sitting on the eggs that would hatch into gaming's next great IPs. Most excitingly, 2 of those eggs had already been laid in the form of Cauldron and Firewalk Studios.
Yep, there it is. Firewalk.
The idea was each studio would have a specific title or genre they specialize in, ensuring only
That's actually really good, and that's how it should be. And what happens with Activision Blizzard, for example, when one game fails, they shove those devs into other parts of games that they don't belong in. When Hearthstone started doing really poorly, they started shifting people over to World of Warcraft and Overwatch, even though they don't, like, really specialize in those games. And you notice things that came from, example, Hearthstone. There was a guy called Celestalon, I think it was. He used to work for Hearthstone, and he was the one that started pitching the idea of making World of Warcraft accessible through your mobile phone because he liked the idea of playing WoW on the phone. That's literally it. It wasn't because like, oh, I want to have mobile players. He literally only did it because he liked Hearthstone and you could play on your phone with Hearthstone. And I'm just like, I remember he posted about it on Twitter and he got a lot of backlash. But anyway, yo, Mikey, thank you for the 10 gifted. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
The best
So hey, that's lore I didn't know. I never played. I never played. I can't say I ever played WoW myself. Didn't appeal to me. MMO, massive multiplayer online RPGs. I've played a few, but I've played EverQuest for like a day or two. I played FF14 for like a day or two. It just never really stuck with me. Oh, you know what? One I did actually play for a lot longer than a day or two was Elder Scrolls Online, and I did enjoy that one very much actually. When you don't have a lot of friends to play with, it gets kind of boring. So yeah.
and brightest experts would be working on each team. It was an unsinkable ship. I mean, a decent plan. One of those studios, Firewalk, would specialize in shooters, and they were reportedly making one of the 5v5 sci-fi variety. Good stuff.
Overweight.
The outfit was headed by Ryan Ellis, former Bungie creative director, and Tony Sue, former senior vice president of Destiny at Activision.
Oh.
I love you.
You got the wrong fucking number.
I don't know how you
Dude, The Sopranos is so good.
can be senior vice president of a
Hey,
single
you fuck
game, but
off.
hey, it sounds impressive. So impressive, in fact, that Sony entered an exclusive publishing deal with Firewalk in 2021.
Okay.
Probably Monsters then received $250 million in Series A funding in 2022. But wait, there's more. In 2023, Sony doubled down and bought Firewalk outright,
Uh-oh. Bad news bears.
fully committing to chasing the live service dragon. CEO Jim Ryan said
Because it seems like these game studios never freaking learned live service does not work. So many live service games were created and failed because nobody has that kind of time, man. Okay, so the market, the pool of players, it's a finite amount. It's limited, right? And so if there's one live service game that everyone's playing, do you think, and they're enjoying, do you think they're going to move to another live service game for which they have to uh, um, dump the majority of their gaming time into in order to keep up with everybody else who is doing that? No. No. So of course not. So if one live service game is doing very well and another live service game comes along and it's not as good, of course the second live service game isn't going to do as well as the other one. But everyone sees how good the first one's doing. They think, oh, let me get a piece of that pie, and they create a game that nobody's playing, and then oh no, we poured so much resources and so much time and so much effort into making this thing that nobody's playing. Well, if you just focus on making a good single player, tightly driven story and game that people can enjoy, rather than try to cash grab everything all the time, maybe you'd actually have money. Maybe you'd actually have a profit. Oops.
he was, quote, confident the studio's upcoming project will be a robust addition to PlayStation Studios'
Just because you're a publisher doesn't mean you need to acquire every single fucking company in order to save costs, man.
portfolio.
And it's funny, yeah, the idea of acquiring companies to save on costs because you didn't okay. If you buy so you understand, some of these companies are bought and are sold or bought and sold for like billions of dollars. If the company is bought and the company does not create good content that people actually want to buy and play, does the company recoup the cost of the acquisition? No. So was that a smart move in the long run? No. So basically, this is why we're seeing the degradation of AAA gaming, because they keep making poor decisions. Then they complain and whine when indie sells their games for Hollow Knight Silksong for $20. Oh no! How I can't believe you're selling such a low price. How could you edge out the market in such a way? Use the creators of Hollow Knight to feeling like they created such a good product that they would still make a profit at $20. Just because you want to sell your games for 120, God forbid someone else decides to sell it for a lot less, for 5 times less, or 5 or 6 times, whatever. You get it, a lot less. It's a lot of dumb things going on in the industry, and frankly, I'm glad that there's another side of the industry picking up the slack.
Clearly,
Yeah,
whatever was being
portfolio.
shown off behind the scenes was looking real good. Or was it?
Or was
well,
it?
according to an inside source within the dev team who spoke to Colin Moriarty, the self-proclaimed godfather of PlayStation podcasts, that's not exactly true.
We've seen this.
Apparently, when the game was shown to Sony leadership, it was in rough shape. Key features like the new player experience and monetization plan were not even started, and that was
Yeah, because you make a good game first and then you maybe think about monetization, you fucking greedy little grubby, greasy hand little goblins, man.
That's the thing, yeah. They design the store first, and then they design the game around the store. Like, that's retarded. Like, oh, we don't want you to have fun. We want you to give us money. Like, no, I will give you money if I'm having fun, not the other way around. Like, come on, man.
Oh my god. What? No way! The game doesn't have monetization instantly? You don't have a plan for how much it costs? Ah, that's unacceptable.
was 5 years and $200 million into development.
That's
Should have
bad.
probably been a red flag, right?
Yes.
Well, according to Moriarty, senior leadership at Sony, specifically co-CEO Herman Hulst, loved the concept of Concord so much that he decided they would throw whatever resources necessary at it to get it
You can't make a shooter with $200 million?
across the finish line, to the tune of an additional $200 million. It seemed to him that the team was simply too talented to fail, and with more firepower, Concord was
Why
going
is this a turd? Why is it a green turd coming out of the ground?
With more firepower, Concord was going to be the live service smash hit Sony was looking for. Internally, it was referred to as the future of PlayStation, with Star Wars-like potential.
Right. Just like I said in the opening of the video. Really? Star Wars like potential? You're drinking some Kool-Aid, man. Your feet are not planted firmly in reality. Come on, man. Really?
It's like a prophecy that's been foretold so many times. Make a good game. Stop forcing competitive sports onto a game before it's even out, before the public has even received it. Stop making IPs and forcing people to like characters or liking a story before they've even had a chance to enjoy the game.
The reason the industry got so big in the first place, and it shouldn't have to be said. It's freaking obvious. It's because games are fun. Duh. So if you make a game not fun, is it going to make money? No. This is basic stuff, man.
Yeah, I think that there has been developed stories like with World of Warcraft, Warcraft 3, freaking Halo, what else? Like big IPs. Warhammer, where stories are made alongside the game, but they have to be good stories. You don't just buy out $10 million for a cinematic and then expect people to like it when you have no backbone to it.
The idea was to make Concord not just a hit game, but a hit IP across multiple forms of media, beginning with an episode in Amazon's video game-oriented anthology series.
Which is crazy because it took League of Legends 15 years to create Arcane. League of Legends was just a video game for the longest time, but you're coming out guns blazing, so confident that you have an amazing thing on your hands that you already had a massive show, a well-animated show from what I'm looking at too. This costs millions of dollars. How much of this disaster is due to company culture? How much is due to the Sunny Bernie grabbing micromanaging? Absolutely all of it.
She just read the chat, and she read it so fast or without enunciating her words, I didn't understand what the hell she just read. But yeah, Arcane was a fantastic show. I loved it. Highly recommended if anyone hasn't seen it yet. Very good stuff. But yeah, obviously pouring money into something without knowing if it's going to succeed like this is retarded, and they lost the money, and they may as well have given it to me because I would have used it better.
Man.
Just
Shark
saying.
trying to make Star Wars levels of game when you are only able to make Witcher Season 4? You can't just say that. They're already dead, man.
Secret level set to release in December 2024. But Sony was playing 4D chess here and knew that
People don't even know, like, what your game is about, and you're gonna expect them to, like, watch a show? If I remember correctly, there was, like, a book, too, that they made.
for Concord's millions of fans, it wouldn't be enough. So the team started cooking up very stylish, very expensive cinematics that would
But they still weren't good. Like, they looked good, but they weren't good, if that makes sense.
drop weekly alongside
It's because the characters don't look good. The animations look good. I give it that. I don't have anything to knock on that. But the characters look like crap. I look at these like look at this one right here. You can see my mouse, right? This trash dude. Who wants to play as this? No one. And then you have this weird looking green dude. I mean, all right, maybe I would try him out. But if the gameplay was good, then maybe he would be cool. But obviously the gameplay wasn't good. That's why it failed so fast. And then I don't know, man. Whatever. The character designs are trash.
the game. So despite the
Why?
game's extremely underbaked state, the red carpet treatment the team was getting from Sony ensured the vibes were
Wow.
good. Maybe a little too good. Colin's inside source also cited a culture of toxic positivity, where criticism of the game's design choices was implicitly discouraged in an effort to lift morale, which
Toxic positivity. It's the same thing in video games. I hated playing Final Fantasy XIV for this exact same reason. I know it's not a one-to-one, but the community was so toxically positive. If you had anything negative to say about it, people would fucking rip out your throat and call you a piece of shit and report you.
I don't understand where this mentality comes from, where people feel the need to defend corporations. Like, dude, they don't care about you. Why do you care about them more than they care about you? What's wrong with you? Like, don't you have better things to point that sort of energy towards? Like better people in your life to point that sort of energy towards? Why are you defending a corporation like that? They only want your money.
Can't imagine this is a good work environment either. You can't criticize your own game.
obviously achieved the opposite when people felt their voices weren't being heard. Of course, take these things with a grain of salt. It's all based on the testimony of one developer. But given how things turned out for Concord, it's very hard to imagine the team was unanimously in support of the game's direction.
Who thought this was a good character, man? Daw, man.
He, him
Support
pronouns.
of the game's direction. Another
And
example.
He, him pronouns. It looks like a fat woman. Like, honestly, dude. Who wants to play as a fat woman? Like, really? Whatever. That's why it failed.
Daw, man.
Of the game's direction. Another example of good vibes gone wrong is the curious case of the Professor, also known as Lisa Brown. Lisa was Concord's principal game designer, who identified as a professor despite not having any actual credentials in it.
It's like people who get a doctorate and then make everyone call them doctor.
Education. Lisa insisted on being called the professor at all
Jesus
times, and anyone who
Christ.
refused would be reported to HR and
Why? Why is this important to making a video game? You're still not a doctorate at, like, making a good game, man. Or a professor.
written up.
You wouldn't want to have to talk to human resources. Would you?
Meetings were supposedly even reworked to accommodate, turning
I had friends that worked in medical, and they wouldn't really address the doctor unless it was, like, in a really professional setting in front of a patient. Like, oh, Dr. Blah Blah, right? But if it was, like, in passing and they were, like, good enough friends, you don't really, like, you don't fucking say, like, doctor every single time you address the person. You could say Mr. or, like, use their first name. I feel like that's kind of on a normal fucking basis. Of course there are people that are bitches no matter what, but, like, I think overall I've seen nothing but, like, normal everyday interactions.
design syncs with Lisa into design masterclasses with the professor. This was naturally seen as ridiculous by other members of the team, but they chose to keep their mouths shut rather than go through the hassle of speaking up. So the show went on, and in May 2023, it was time to reveal the game to the public for the very first time.
Yippee.
What would they show? A short lore piece to add investment in the characters? A shootout with space pirates, perhaps?
A cinematic. Even the cinematic for Overwatch was so hype.
It was.
Like,
For like, part of what made Overwatch so cool and hype, like she said, was the character cinematics. The character designs in Overwatch are actually good, by comparison, especially, and slowly rolling out like little bit of lore drops to people. It definitely built a desire in people to want to at least try the game out, and heck, lo and behold, it was actually fun. It was definitely a fun game. It was a very fun game, but it's very well past its prime these days, and clearly the Fireworks Studios here did not do a good job planning and rolling out their advertisements for this stuff.
I remember when it came out and it was hype because there was like actual storytelling and diverse characters and different things going on. What the fuck is this?
That's right, for an epic 5v5 sci-fi hero shooter, we got an empty ship and a deliciously jiggly burger. The bold choice to show more cooking utensils than weapons left viewers in a state of apathetic confusion, failing to arouse
no combat, no weapons, no like establishment of the story,
any excitement at all. Well, maybe someone was aroused by the burger, but overall as a reveal trailer, it went rather poorly, sitting at 350,000 views at the time of recording. Not exactly future of PlayStation or Star Wars-like numbers. But no need to worry, the game still had over a year before release, and things would surely come together. Plus, the public had yet to see Concord's crown jewel, the characters.
This is insulting.
Yeah,
I think this is one of the best.
Who wants to play as a trash band? Oh, I do. Yeah, no one's gonna do that. No one's saying that.
Characters.
Plus, the public had yet to see Concord's crown jewel.
I think this little guy has more character than most of them. Like 90% of them. I would play this character. The trash can robot with the... I don't know what this is. Like the ball clamper.
I stand corrected. Apparently, Smug Alana would.
That's a Fallout 4 robot? Yeah, he's got character. Or it's, depending on the pronouns on the character. Which they put in the game, by the way.
The characters.
It's a recycling bin.
Characters and character designs are the central component of any hero shooter.
Absolutely.
Just look at Overwatch, which was
and they have to be distinct too, which I can't help but feel that every single character in Concord had no difference between one another whatsoever. Except for pronouns.
Standard for the genre throughout Concord's entire development cycle. One memorable design after another connected players to the IP instantly.
Yep.
And now Overwatch fan art is almost bigger than the game itself.
It absolutely is bigger. Don't kid yourself.
It is.
It's not almost, it is.
I'm not gonna say how I know, but I'm not gonna say how I know, but it is.
Concord knew this, so the next time they faced the public, the characters were going to be front and center. Fast forward a year, and the gang at Firewalk was ready for their close-up, with Concord slated to be the big announcement at Sony's 2024 State of Play. This trailer wasn't just the debut for the characters, it was also a taste of what players could expect going forward with the weekly cinematics. To its credit, the cinematic looked very, very impressive, clearly the product of industry-leading CG artists, but even then, the trailer released to uproarious apathy. For starters, the quippy Marvel-style dialogue would have gone great if the game had released in 2016 when it began development, but by 2024 it had gone fully out of style. But what about the characters? Surely people liked the characters. Star-Lord and the gang from Timu.
For me, it was like, you know the League of Legends skin line, Odyssey? It was actually worse than this, because at least with Odyssey, I can pick out the characters that they're supposed to be from League. I think they did a better job, and they were more distinct. Like the Yasuo Odyssey, the Kayn Odyssey, Jinx Odyssey, Malphite. I genuinely thought that was a better skin line than all of this combined, and it probably cost less to make. I'll show you guys after. You guys will know exactly what I mean.
Janitors of the Galaxy. Finally, characters that are immune to Rule 34. Captain Hot Sauce and Guardians of the Fallacy. This ain't Guardians of the Galaxy, that's Protectors of the Cosmos. To make matters worse, keen viewers picked up on a prompt to pre-order on the end card, meaning the game would not be free to play. Sony confirmed this in a subsequent blog post, setting the price tag at $40. Not so good, considering all of the leading genre competitors were free. I have no evidence to support this, but to me this felt like Sony reading the writing on the wall and choosing to pivot to a paid product late in development, essentially betting that the average player wouldn't stick around long enough to spend $40 on in-game goodies.
The in-game goodies don't even look better than like a $20 or $10 skin from League of Legends. This is a skin line from League.
I'm sorry, but who pays $10 to $20 for a skin? Like, you could buy food with that, man. That's a meal, for God's sake, at a restaurant or something. I don't need a restaurant, but like, that's a lot of money for just making your character look a little bit different. That's crazy, man. Whatever. I wouldn't. Even if I had, even if I had the money to drop, I simply wouldn't.
League of Legends. They're notorious for having really good skin splash art, so keep that in mind. Ignore the fact that the models don't look anything like the characters in the splash art, but this is amazing. Look, it's Sona, Yasuo, Malphite, Ziggs, Jinx, Kayn. There's a couple more that they added on later on, but this was the main skin line. People like this. This was nice. And again,
It is cool art.
because the characters are interesting and distinct. This crap is so bad. The designers didn't hire like artists. They hired people that like, just didn't care for it at all, or they had an agenda of making ugly characters for whatever reason.
There must be passion behind projects like this. If you want money to come from making things like games, there has to be passion behind what you're making. Otherwise, it won't be good.
The price point itself also reflects this lack of confidence, since surely people would shell out the $70 on the future of PlayStation.
Yeah, right.
But hold on a second.
The trash can has so much personality. Look at that thing.
There
Look
was
at him
still
go.
one more trick up Firewalk's sleeve. Sure, things weren't trending in the right direction, but remember, nobody's actually played the game or seen its gameplay yet. And after all, this is a video game we're talking about. Not a movie
Skyrim
or a
music.
TV show, a goddamn game where the player's experience is king. So what if the character designs aren't hitting? Fine, we'll rework those. The writing style is annoying and stale? No problem. Just boot up Microsoft Word and write something different.
Yeah.
But the gameplay, that's the core of this thing, and that's the part we won't change for anyone. Let's put Concord in the player's hands and let the gameplay do the talking. So that's what they did. Firewalk announced a closed beta weekend for players who pre-ordered, followed by an open beta the next weekend, where anyone could hop in to try Concord for free. For reference, the Overwatch beta saw 10 million total
I played the Overwatch beta and it was amazing.
players. The Valorant beta
People were
averaged
so
3
hype.
million daily players. At this point, Sony and Firewalk were probably tempering their expectations and would have been okay with a couple million registrations and a few 100,000 daily players.
Oh, that would
Not
be nice.
record-breaking figures, but enough to ensure the game would have a stable player base for years to come.
What? It's just an ordinary crabby.
Oh my god!
That is abysmally... No. Good vibes only. We still have the open beta. The closed one was just for people who pre-ordered. Who pre-orders games anyway? Come on, anyone can hop in now.
Let's up those numbers!
Freaking Jellywig, dude.
The open beta reached a still dismal 2,400
I'm not even gonna bother going into the lore on Jellywig there.
players on
Yikes! If you triple that, that's still terrible from all the console players. Yep.
Steam, and from here, both Sony and
Yikes.
Firewalk go notably silent.
Yikes.
And can you blame them? They're in an unsalvageable position. They're already $400 million in the hole, and the longer they work on the game, the bigger that number will get, meaning the game would need to be an even bigger success to break even, or dare I say it, turn a profit. Worse, for the game to be a success, they would basically need to start over, because nothing they were doing seemed to be working.
A blessing in disguise.
He was bored while playing and was like, "Oh, it crashed. You know what? I don't even want to play this game anymore anyway." Like, wow.
Concord beta crashing on Charlie's stream.
The other
I remember watching Charlie play the beta, and I legit thought I accidentally turned on 0.5 speed. It was so slow. No! Yo! Oh, everyone said that when it came out, and I didn't believe it. And then I watched the Fleekazoid video, and it was terrible.
Option, of course, was to just sit tight, hope for the best, and stick with the original release date, which at this point was just over a month away. They chose option B. 1 month later, on August 23rd, 2024, Concord launched. Despite middling reviews from critics, player
It's crazy that they gave him a 7.7, by the way. They also rated Baldur's Gate as an 8. Do you think Concord and Baldur's Gate are on the same level?
numbers were
Not even a little bit close. This is why gaming review companies can't be trusted, dude. Gaming media can't be trusted. It's ridiculous. And I'm late to the party and stating that fact, obviously. But yeah, I don't trust IGN or any other gaming company, gaming media company for that matter.
low, even by the pitiful standards set by the game's own
Enhance!
betas. I'm talking James Cameron at the bottom of the ocean low. The game's all-time peak player count sits, and will forever sit, at 697 players on Steam. Less than a third of the turnout for the open beta. Games that are considered monumental.
That's so bad. That is extremely bad. 10%. Less than 10%, actually.
Flops like this year's Mind's Eye or 2023's The Day Before.
It just proves that no matter how much money you throw at a game, if it's shit, then it's really shit. You can't hide behind like a dollar store sign or whatever. Behind money bags.
Concord out of the water by this metric. All told, the game reportedly sold 25,000 copies across all platforms, making a grand total of $1 million in sales. Just 11 days later, Sony announced Concord was being permanently taken offline and that full refunds would be issued to all purchasers,
That's
reducing
rare,
that
by the
$1
way.
million to zero. 3 days after that, Concord was no longer playable, swiftly removed from existence by the very company that had so zealously believed in it. This is more or less the end of Concord's story, but there were some notable things that happened in the aftermath that are worth mentioning. One dev had a public meltdown on Twitter and called critics of the game talentless freaks. Herman Hulse.
Yep. Calling your customers talentless freaks. Good idea.
Talentless freaks for talking crap about the game that was made by talentless freaks. Look in the mirror, dude. Seriously.
Is that person fired?
Stepped down as co-CEO of Sony Interactive Publishing and has been demoted to the lowly role of head of PlayStation Studios.
Oh,
Game director Ryan
boo-hoo.
Ellis put out
Sure
a
you still
statement
get
saying
money.
he was exploring options to better reach the players, which some interpreted as Firewalk taking Concord's assets and using them to create a completely different game, like a single-player RPG or something. But then that discussion was brought to a close when Firewalk was permanently shuttered 6 weeks later. For those wondering, the professor now works at EA. So what?
They just get
Why? Like why? You oversaw the loss of $400 million, and you get hired somewhere else. Like, this is why one of many reasons why AAA gaming is failing so hard. Why would you rehire somebody who brought about the destruction of a company, basically, with your? I can't even, man. I'm just gonna keep going.
shuffled around in the same industry. It really sucks. Like, how do you make such a horrible game and then get picked up by, like, another company? No, explain that one to me.
do we make of all this? What do we take away? Because the weird thing is,
Falling
Concord is
upwards.
a competently made video game, much more so than the other titles it was beaten by in terms of player count.
Yep.
It doesn't have any game-breaking bugs or exploits or performance.
I disagree. We saw Fleekazoid playing it on day one, and he said the screen tearing and the gameplay was awful. It was really poorly optimized, and the gunplay was terrible. Everyone was just like, it wasn't like necessarily laggy, but it was slow in terms of gameplay, which isn't inherently buggy. But the screen tearing was terrible. He said he couldn't record anything, if I remember correctly. It kept crashing over and over again.
Issues, the set pieces look good enough, and there's plenty of content between the 16 characters and 12 maps. So what is it then? I'm sure this question has kept Sony executives up through many sleepless nights, but luckily I'm here to tuck them in and make it all make sense. To me, this all boils down to the hero shooter genre. Let's really stop and key in on that first word, hero. More than any other genre in gaming, hero shooters live and die by the quality of their character designs. Overwatch understood that and managed to create a cast of visually distinct, memorable characters that resonate.
I would say that a kinship to character design in shooters and video games in general is to be able to tell what the character is based on the silhouette of the character. If you made a silhouette of Mercy, and even if you took out the light fractals of her wings, you'd still be able to recognize her as Mercy. Or as Doomfist, or whatever. Like, you could just tell. If you've played the game, like, for more than, like, I don't know, like 5 hours, you can definitely tell characters apart, and I think that's really important. Whereas, if you fucking took Concord, the only one that I could fucking point out is Daw and the trash can. That's the only ones I could probably shape out.
With players on day one, which is honestly incredibly impressive.
It is.
Marvel
It
Rivals
is.
smartly
Yeah, they're all
leveraged
blobs.
the IP's pre-existing cast, guaranteeing strong attachment to the game's roster. Concord, on the other hand, had no such luck. They didn't just drop the ball, they loaded the ball.
Like, what the fuck? It's just a dude with plastic on it.
Generic Man number 276. Thank you. Happy to play Generic Man number 276.
His shoulders.
I mean, obviously his name is Teo on top right here, but come on, like, he looks so basic and generic and like boring, dude.
I've seen shoulder guards from World of Warcraft Classic from 2004 that looked better than this. What is this? Why has he got plastic on his fucking shoulder? It looks like it's glued on. It looks like it's quarterback. Quarterbacks look better than this.
They loaded the ball into a
Paintball
cannon
armor?
and shot it off Mount Everest.
So bad.
Turns out those characters everyone was roasting in the CG trailer were actually the best designs Concord had to offer. To create successful characters for this kind of game, there are two things you need to nail. First off, the characters need to look cool.
True.
Plain and simple.
Base.
Hard to quantify, but you know it when you
Big
see
muscles,
it.
big
Genji
titties.
looks cool. De
Very
Veers
important,
does
this video,
not.
Yes.
It's like someone put Tupperware on a person and then took the pipe of a bathroom and ripped it out from underneath the sink and stuck it on the front. And this is like a nail gun. A blue nail gun. Yeah, intestine with pipes. Yeah, I thought that too, but like I thought it was like a bathroom pipe. It looks like a low budget cosplay, but like it's an actual character. You know the guy that cosplays, I forget what his name is. He's an Asian guy, really funny, from Japan, I think it was, or Korea. And he makes like low budget cosplays of himself. Of other characters, sorry. And then it's like Demon Slayer and One Piece, and it's really, really funny. And yeah, low cost cosplay, that was it. He's Malaysian? I'm sorry, I don't know. It's just so fucking funny, man.
Winter Soldier looks
Baba?
cool. Roka does not. You know when you're a kid and you really want to wear a Halloween costume, but it's clearly designed for kids a couple years older than you, so the mask or helmet is gigantic? That's what Roka here makes me think of. In fact, maybe someone in the comments can back me up here, but that's what all of Concord's characters make me.
It's just, who's gonna cosplay these two? Can I just point out for a second, why would anybody want to cosplay, like, half of these characters? They don't look attractive, they don't look hot, they don't look interesting. Why would you?
People in cosplay.
This is a premium skin?
Nobody's gonna buy that.
I'd pay $20 for this.
No, I said it correctly once again.
How much did it
Apparently people has
cost?
money to burn.
$10, $15? Way too much money. You just have to make them look cool. It looks like a 5-year-old took his dad's like football pants or football shorts, put on his boots, and then stapled on like a football guard for his shoulders. And then took a bike helmet.
Costumes, almost as if
This one looks okay. No, it doesn't. It's not okay. This is not okay.
this is the
I would not pay $20 for that.
crappy cosplay version of a serviceable design we don't get to see.
I wouldn't even say these are crappy. These
Now
are
you
good.
might be wondering, why do the characters need to look cool? We're just shooting each other, Command B. This isn't the Met Gala. It's because people connect with aspirational figures in media. We gravitate towards characters who represent exaggerations of our best qualities. Qualities like strength and bravery and courage.
Oh, it's
I know I'll
Ripley
never
from
be
Dead by
able to look like
Daylight.
Captain America or do the things he can, so it's exciting to embody him in a game for a couple hours. It's fun to play as Spider-Man, so I can experience swinging from the rooftops.
Between Spider-Man 1 and 2, made by Insomniac, I probably have, this is embarrassing, I probably have like 1,200 hours between the two games. Oh, and I actually do have Miles Morales. Well, I had Miles Morales as well, but somebody threw the copy of my game away. But between all three games, you have probably around 1,200 hours. That's how much I enjoy playing Spider-Man.
Or Kratos, so I can experience fatherhood.
What?
This is what
Wait a minute,
aspirational
what?
characters do for us. They put us in the shoes of people we'd want to be. Does this have the negative side effect of hypersexualizing almost every hero shooter character?
No, she's completely covered in a skin suit. You can't even see her boobs.
Yeah,
Well-
maybe, but I think all but
I disagree.
690
I think Diva is like the perfect embodiment of like being a girl and being covered up, and people still make corn out of her, funnily enough.
7 of us can
Yeah.
agree we'd rather play as someone who is
Yeah, Diva's so
unattainably
hot.
muscular or impossibly curvy.
Oh
than
my god. This is a king right
muscular
here.
or impossibly curvy
This is a king right here.
than whatever's going on here. The second piece is the intuitive nature of their design as it relates
Reinhardt.
to gameplay.
Yeah.
Good designs use their visual presentation to inform the player of their abilities. Look at Pharah from Overwatch. She's got a wing-like jetpack on and her mask has a bird-like quality. Not too far a stretch to assume she flies. Now look at Jabali
Smart.
from Concord. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, that's Cam Newton. Now look at Jabali from Concord.
What?
Yeah, you can't
I,
you can't determine what his speciality is just by looking at him. Whatever.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just really uninteresting.
Yes.
What does he do?
Yeah, what does he do?
Unless hanging out at coffee shops in Brooklyn is his signature ability, there's nothing about his design to clue us into his gameplay.
The only thing that clues me in is that he's got like a hat on that like I maybe associate with like the Canadian police. You know, what is it called? The Mounties, I think it's the term.
That sounds right. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the hat makes me think of the Mounties.
Turns out he's a healer, by the way,
How the
What?
fuck would you know that?
For real?
in case
and
that's
why?
what you were thinking.
What?
So that's a 0 out of 10
He's
on
a
the hero
healer?
in Hero Shooter, but what about the shooter part? To save Concord, the gunplay and abilities needed to be really, really good. So good that every other hero shooter would pale in comparison. As you might have guessed, that wasn't the case.
Air
The
conditioning.
gameplay was painfully generic. Like if you went to the hero shooter factory and took one off the assembly line before it got dusted with any flavor. Even
Yep.
now, when I watch clips of the game, it looks so slow to
It
the
is
point where it triggers
slow.
that impulse in my brain that makes me think I'm looking at slowed down footage.
Literally, one of my bots pointed that out, dude.
Overall,
Everybody
Concord was a
says
perfect
that.
storm of bad decision making and
Why
worse
is the movement so bad? I understand not every game has to have ADHD zoomer fucking like movement, but holy shit.
execution, leading to
Nah,
a
that's
product so
wild.
bland that it inspired not hate, but apathy, which is arguably
Yes.
worse. For most of us, the entire thing went by in the blink of an eye, not becoming noteworthy until it was already over.
Yep.
For developers, I think Concord's fate is a cautionary tale, one that will hopefully discourage big spending on future titles that don't bring any meaningful innovation to the genres they're trying to join. While Probably Monsters was able to wash their hands of the whole thing by selling off Firewalk to Sony in the business move of the century, I think their fixation on people-first culture had a role to
How
play
about game first culture? Making good game first.
in the whole thing.
No,
I
that's
think
too much.
focusing on accountability and treating others with respect sounds
Yo,
great
Doodle,
on
thank you for the
paper,
raid, I appreciate
but it can
it.
turn sour quickly when
Hello?
immature people use that as
Hi.
a shield from criticism, confusing constructive feedback with personal attacks. And so ends the story of Concord. Leave a like and sub if you think I earned it. Let me know what you think in the
I think you did.
Wait, why does it feel like I'm forgetting something? Oh
What,
god,
what,
the
what, what?
secret level episode. Okay, hold on. Give me 30 seconds.
All right,
30
what is
minutes,
this?
not 30 seconds. God damn it. All right, I'll be back.
A few moments later.
Okay, I've now seen Concord's secret level episode, and honestly, I don't have that much to say about it. The only thing of note about the episode is that we don't
The man's watched the secret level episode just to like put more into the video, and he walked away, wasted his time. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. Oh, yeah. So that wasn't worth it.
see a single one of the characters we've grown to love and are instead introduced to an all-new cast who some have theorized were the batch of characters that were going to be added to the game before it was shut down.
Yeah,
Normally, I
can
would say
see
there's
that.
no way characters with such bland, unappealing
the confidence to have before even screen testing the game and putting so many resources and so much money and effort and time. Like, someone had to animate this. By the way, no dogging on the actual animation and the cinematic and the choice of music or like the special effects. I think this is really good. I'm not talking about like the character designs or anything like that. I'm just saying, like,
designs.
it looks good, which is astounding because that means that there's a lot of talent for the person or the people that made this. And it's like, yeah, quality but shit material. Yeah, it's just like, what the fuck, dude? What is going on? How could you have like this the amount of resources that you had and you still shit the bed? Yo, Mikey, think of the 10 gift that I appreciate.
Like, the animators for this clearly had passion for animation. They did their job well. Like, the character designers, not so much.
Eat it.
would ever make it into a hero shooter, but this is
is
Concord
like
we're
Hollywood
talking
levels of
about, and
quality.
honestly, they fit right in with
Well, actually, I shouldn't say that because Hollywood's been really shit recently, but you get what I mean, right?
the rest, or at least I think
Yeah, the
they
CG's
do.
pretty
To be
good.
honest, the whole thing is already starting to fade from my memory. That's really the remarkable thing about Concord. It has this uncanny ability to immediately wipe itself from your mind the second
Yeah, and your ass.
you're no longer looking at it. And ultimately, I think that's really what doomed this game from the start. It isn't good enough to be memorable, but it also isn't bad enough to be memorable either.
Lumi playing the Golem game was so funny.
It just goes by,
Holy.
barely making
And
an impression
critical.
of any kind. I
Charlie
think that's
did.
why it felt like there was no marketing behind this thing, even though it was center stage at Sony's biggest show.
It wouldn't have mattered how much marketing you threw at it. If it's still shit, the common denominator, the public, will figure out that it's shit. The most basic dude who goes and buys a game because there's a new shooter coming out because they love shooters will buy the game, realize it's bad, too slow, doesn't find any enjoyment out of it, and probably ask for a refund. They don't have to be a chronically online gamer to understand that it's just bad.
of the year, or why, despite being the biggest financial failure in the history of media, it already feels like Concord's story is being forgotten after just a year.
I don't think it's forgotten.
Alright, for real this time. Like and sub if you think I earned it, and I'll catch you next time.
Again, I don't think people are gonna forget. People bring it up whenever, like, possible. Honestly. Yeah, it's a meme. I think it's timeless. Go check them out. I thought this was really funny. Really good video.
So that was Smug Alana covering the fall of Concord. Well, covering the person who covered the fall of Concord and me reactception, everybody. Yeah. So, but yeah, the fall of Concord. The thing about Concord, it was such a colossal failure. Yeah, people are going to continue to talk about it for years to come because it's like, how do you lose almost $500 million in the creation of something that you had to know. You had to know nobody was going to like. Like, let's be real here. Like, subscribe, and follow me on these platforms. And remember to think critically.